Imagine facing a relentless barrage of life's toughest blows, only to discover a devastating illness lurking just weeks after welcoming your newborn into the world. That's the unimaginable reality for one woman whose story is as heart-wrenching as it is inspiring, and it might just make you rethink everything you thought you knew about health and resilience. But here's where it gets controversial. Could this rare cancer diagnosis be linked to the very miracle of motherhood? And this is the part most people miss. How a simple TikTok post turned personal chaos into a viral movement of support. Let's dive into Emily Hausman's extraordinary tale, breaking it down step by step to understand her journey, the medical mysteries, and the human spirit's incredible capacity to endure. At 43, Emily Hausman is navigating a whirlwind of challenges that would overwhelm most, yet she's finding moments of laughter amidst the storm. It's been such a wild year, she shares with Today.com, reflecting on the series of setbacks that have tested her limits. From becoming a first-time mom to losing her job, dealing with health scares, relocating, and ultimately confronting a life-altering diagnosis of stage 4 cancer. Her story unfolds like a dramatic script. At her lowest points, she questioned whether it was all as chaotic as it felt or if she was simply overreacting. So, she turned to the internet for validation, and the response was overwhelming. "I never expected anyone to pay attention," she admits. Her TikTok video recounting these events exploded with 1.6 million views, offering a raw glimpse into her struggles. "I felt like I was sinking under the weight of it all," she explains. "It was just too much, and I needed to let it out. Plus, I wondered if I was making a big deal out of nothing." But the online community reassured her, "No, you're right. This is intense." Even now, as she describes a near-death experience just a month ago, Emily presses on with unwavering determination. She has no choice but to keep moving forward. Let's rewind to the beginning of her remarkable path to motherhood. "I didn't want to miss the opportunity to become a parent," Emily says, highlighting how her previous employer's fertility benefits through progeny made it possible. In February 2020, she made the proactive decision to freeze her eggs, a process that preserves them for future use, often recommended for women in their 30s or early 40s to combat the natural decline in egg quality over time. Just a few months later, in July 2020, she met someone she believed was her soulmate. Unfortunately, that relationship didn't last, leaving her to explore single parenthood on her own terms. Fast forward to May 2024. Emily selected a sperm donor and underwent successful embryo transfer in September. By November, she faced another hurdle when she was let go from her role as a senior entertainment manager at a magazine in New York City. The very next day after Thanksgiving, doctors identified and treated a hematoma, a collection of blood outside the blood vessels, which can occur postpartum. This prompted her to move back into her parents' home in Salt Lake City. Then, in May 2025, she gave birth to her son, Ezekiel, via cesarean section. "He's my little angel," she beams, describing the joy he brings. For about 3 weeks, things seemed promising. But in June, complications arose when scans revealed a blood clot. This led to a dilation and curettage procedure, commonly called a D&C, where surgeons gently remove tissue from the uterus to address issues like abnormal bleeding or incomplete miscarriage. Tragically, an infection followed, hospitalizing her for 4 days. It began with a high fever signaling endometritis, an inflammation of the uterine lining caused by bacteria, as explained by the Cleveland Clinic. Doctors aren't certain of the exact cause, but procedures like DNCS do heighten the risk, especially if not fully monitored. Amid these trials, Ezekiel was thriving. "He's turning into such a little personality," Emily says proudly. At 23 pounds, he's babbling away and almost ready to sit up independently. Yet, her own health continued to deteriorate. After the D&C and infection left her exhausted, she decided to stop breastfeeding, noting she wasn't producing much milk anyway. As time went on, she noticed one breast remained firm and uncomfortable. "It wasn't like that during breastfeeding," she recalls. "So I assumed it was something simple like mastitis, an infection in the breast tissue that can cause pain and swelling, or just leftover milk buildup." At her 6-week follow-up appointment for the C-section, She mentioned it to her doctor. Follow-up tests, including an ultrasound and biopsy, led to a shocking revelation. Stage 4 metastatic melanoma had spread to her breast. Further imaging showed involvement in her pancreas and lymph nodes near her lung, potentially requiring partial lung removal. For beginners, melanoma is a dangerous form of skin cancer typically triggered by UV exposure, per the Mayo Clinic, but in Emily's case, it's particularly puzzling. She's always been diligent about sunscreen, and there's no visible skin cancer. Instead, it's subcutaneous, beneath the skin, suggesting it originated elsewhere and metastasized. Doctors conducted extensive searches, even examining her colon and eyes, areas where melanoma can sometimes hide undetected. But all tests were clear. They believe the cancer likely emerged recently, possibly after childbirth. This raises intriguing questions. Could pregnancy hormones, or the stress of new motherhood play a role? Some experts theorize that hormonal changes during pregnancy might influence cancer risk, though research is ongoing. But here's where it gets controversial. While mainstream views focus on UV damage, Emily's story challenges that narrative, prompting debates about unknown triggers. Is it possible that the incredible physical toll of pregnancy and birth could somehow awaken dormant cells? Experts are divided, and this could spark heated discussions among medical professionals and parents alike. Her treatment plan initially included 4 intense rounds of immunotherapy, a cutting-edge approach that boosts the body's immune system to fight cancer. However, after just 2 sessions in October, severe side effects forced a halt. "I could barely get off the couch," she remembers. She initially suspected ulcerative colitis, a painful bowel condition, inflammation often linked to certain drugs, but emergency tests revealed kidney failure instead. A 5-day hospital stay ensued, and treatment stopped. Now on steroids, her kidney function is improving, but she was gravely ill. Upcoming scans, a CT and MRI, will guide her next steps, with hopes of resuming therapy early next year. Despite the warrior-like endurance she's shown, Emily rejects the fighter label for herself or cancer. "That just doesn't fit who I am," she says. Cancer needs a fresh perspective, less battle, more support, and she's far from alone in this fight. Her parents have sacrificed their bedroom, bunking in the nursery with Ezekiel to ensure she rests. Friends in New York offer distant encouragement, while her best friend, Leah, drives her to countless appointments. Even old colleagues, unsure what to say, have reached out, reminding her that simple check-ins mean the world. Her medical team at Huntsman Cancer Institute has been a lifeline, introducing her to their SOS team for supportive oncology and survivorship. Contrary to what the name might suggest, palliative care here isn't about end-of-life measures. It's a holistic approach focused on quality of life, connecting her with nutritionists, psychiatrists, and soon the Power Program, a blend of physical therapy and exercise to rebuild strength. Online, the support has been equally profound. Starting with just 50 followers, her story has attracted an army of well-wishers and fellow sufferers. "People I never imagined would relate have poured in," she laughs. Looking ahead, Emily contemplates the uncertainties with cautious optimism. "You try to stay hopeful, but there's that underlying truth staring you down," she acknowledges, her voice trailing off. "I'm just doing my best to hold it together, one day at a time. That's all I can manage right now." Emily's experience underscores the unpredictable nature of health, especially for new mothers. But this is the part most people miss. How a single decision to share her story online created a ripple of empathy. And here's where it gets controversial. Should we view cancer through the lens of personal battles, or as a shared human experience that demands societal rebranding? Do you agree with Emily that motherhood might have unknowingly contributed to her diagnosis, or do you see it as mere coincidence? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you have a story of unexpected health challenges? Let's discuss and perhaps uncover more insights together.